This is the Makera Carvera Air, and it's a high-end desktop CNC machine. I've just taken it out of the rather large box, and this thing weighs an absolute ton, and I've just put it on the desk here. So what I'm going to do now is open the front up, because there's loads of goodies inside that I need to get out. So let's have a look at those. Slide it back. And we've got lots of stuff in here to have a look at. And there's even more stuff inside here. Let's get this bit out of the way. We've got some foam here. So this is the optional 4th axis module that they've kindly sent me as well. It looks like we've got a little pouch of silica gel to remove. And I guess this bit just clips on like that. A little pipe here to go into this little nozzle. So we've got a nice tool kit here that comes with a variety of bits. That's a screwdriver for screwing your workpieces and things down there. We've got some clamps. I think that's the angle bracket that goes in the corner of the cutting table. I think this part's for putting new collars on the bits, because it's advised to put a collar on the bits so they fit correctly. And I think that's a tool for changing the spindle collet, so you can put bigger collets in to accommodate different size bits. Right, let's see what else there is. We've got an accessories pack here. It's got another slightly larger or thicker L bracket here. We've got a power lead with a UK plug on it. Some side clamps. Backup screws, wired probe, a set of safety glasses, emergency stop switch. That's a different spindle collet for to accommodate larger tools. A spare limit switch. Manual tool setter. And that's a phone iPad holder or tablet holder that goes on the side of the machine, which you can use as well. And some other spare tool bits. Excellent. And it even comes with a selection of materials to get you started. And there's a couple of example projects that the machine comes with as well that you can just load up, just so you can get used to it, which is probably what I'm going to do first. We've got a little hand saw here. We've got some single-sided PCBs, and that's for an LED light project that you can make. And if you don't want to make the PCB, they send you one pre-built and the components to make one. And we've got some aluminium, some board, sanding blocks. Looks like we've got some Perspex type material here and some thick acrylic. So they've also sent the essential milling bit set, which is some more extra bits here. So I've got quite a selection of bits to be getting on with there. So this is the optional laser module, which allows you to do laser engraving with the machine as well. So basically it turns it into a laser engraver. You've got a set of laser safety goggles there, and a cable that plugs from the laser into the side of the machine. And this is the optional 4th axis module, which you can put a bit of stock in there, and you can get it to do 3D modelling and things. So if you wanted to make something like a chess piece out of wood, for instance, or other things like that. It comes with a couple of pieces of epoxy tooling board as well. So we'll have a play with that later. And we've also got some very detailed manuals on the setup of the machine, instruction manual, and the examples guide. So all the examples that you get with it, with the materials, it shows you actually how to use the machine. So we might cover some of those as well. But the first thing that we need to do is adjust the voltage, or check that the voltage is adjusted correctly, because the last thing we want to do is be blowing it up. So I think we'll do that next. So on the back of the machine we've got a USB-C port here, which allows you to connect the machine to a computer via a USB cable. We've got a charging port here. This is where the mains goes in. We've got a socket for the emergency stop switch to plug into. And we've got an external socket here, which is for the dust extraction unit that Makera also produce. Right, let's get this sticker off and then we'll check. I'll check the voltage. Well, I turned the machine round to adjust the voltage. I tried opening the little flap here with the Allen key, but I couldn't get it open. So I thought, you know, am I doing something wrong? So I thought I'd pull the back off the machine to have a look just to see what was going on here. And when I had a look up there where the switch is, there isn't actually a switch on this one. So I guess they must have used a universal power supply on the model that they've sent. So there isn't a voltage selection, so it should just work as is. This looks like the board that controls the spindle, so this looks like a 3-phase brushless motor driver. Power supply is just behind here. This is the main control board here. And it looks like it's got an SD card there with the operating system on. With a little Wi-Fi board here for the Wi-Fi, because you can connect this to Wi-Fi instead of using the USB as well. So, right, let's plug it in then and see what it does. I'm just going to remove this film from the front. Right, I've got it plugged in. I've connected up the emergency stop, which actually looks quite cute, that. I like that. Right, let's switch it on and see what it does. Hopefully it doesn't go bang. Well, it made a beep. Oh, a red light just came on at the top there. I've just switched the emergency stop off. I just thought I'd switch it on and off just to see if that does anything. Oh, it's actually doing something now. Must have been because the emergency stop was pressed. I guess it's doing a Torment procedure or something. Oh, we've got a nice blue light lit up there now. Right, now I'm going to have to read the instruction manual. Well, I've brought the laptop in. I've got the USB cable connected to the laptop and I've downloaded the Makera controller software. So we'll go over the computer screen now and we'll update the firmware because that's one of the things that they said to do first. Right, let's see if we can connect to the machine then. So I'm going to go to here and then to USB. COM4. It seems to be doing something there. Right, let's see if we can update the firmware. So it says their controller version 0.911 and firmware 1.03, so I think it's up to date. I've got a piece of copper clad board loaded in the machine there and I want to try and mill out a circuit board. So we'll go over to the computer screen a moment. And this is the control software here, and I'm just moving this little slider across to the bottom here. Just zoom in a little bit so you can see a bit better. And this is what the machine's actually going to cut out. So it's going to ask us to swap different bits and that and stuff through the process. So I've already set all of the parameters up. So it should just be a matter of pressing run and see what happens. Right, so it's flashing 2 there. And it says on the screen, please change the tool to the probe and press confirm to proceed. This is the quick tool change out this side. Let's get this probe out. I should pop that in there. Right, let's see if that does its thing. So it's just working out the heights of the probe and the bed and everything now. And now it's just doing the self-leveling procedure, just like what a 3D printer does, just in case the material that we're using is slightly warped. Right, we've got 2 blue flashing lights now, and that indicates that the machine wants us to insert tool number 2. So let's see how long it takes to swap the tool over. That's it, all done. Right, let's hit confirm on the computer. It's just going to check the height of this tool first so it knows the length of it. There we go. And the light at the top's just gone green there. And it's actually not as noisy as I thought it was going to be. It's actually pretty quiet. This I thought was going to be a lot more noisy. Right, I think we'll come back to that when it's a bit further on. Well, that's it, finished milling the actual traces out on the circuit board. The next thing is going to drill the hole, so I need to swap the bit to bit number 3 now, which is a small, what's called a cone bit, that'll actually drill all the holes for the components to go in. So let's just go and swap that bit over and then we'll set it away again. I'm going to set the machine away by pressing the button on the top. So I think that's it, done all the drilling, and now it's cutting the actual PCB out of the rest of the copper clad board. So that's it, finished. So I'm just going to tell the machine now to go back to its home position. And then we'll get this circuit board out and have a look at it. So that's it there. And there's just a couple of little tabs holding it in place that we can just cut off with the little hand saw that's included. Right, I'm just going to cut this board out with a little saw. I've already done this side. Just this side to do. And I think we'll solder some components on. So USB-C socket here. Right, I think that should be it. I'll just grab a USB lead and we'll test it out. Right, back with the power bank. So I think this is the on-off switch, yeah, this little... I think the power bank's switched off. I think if you hold it down, it changes from bright to dim. And if you press it once, it switches it off. And press it again, it switches it on. So yeah, so that's working as expected. Excellent. So I've got this black block of ABS plastic mounted in the machine now. And what we're going to do, we're going to mill out the base of the light next. So I'll just go and set that up and then we'll set the machine away. And as it did with the PCB, it's just auto leveling again, just to make sure that the plastic's nice and level, and it's going to compensate for if it's not. A little bit more noisy and a bit more messier, this one. So I think I'm going to close the lid on this. Let's just finish doing the first bit there, and now it wants me to change the tool for the 0.2 V bit, so I'll just go and do that. So I guess it's making the holes for the screws now. Well, that was short and sweet. Now I guess it wants the first tool again to cut it out. Right, so I think we'll come back after it's finished cutting that out. Well, it's just finished there, and I've just finished vacuuming up because there was a fair amount of mess, so I'm glad this is fully enclosed, otherwise there would have been these little chips everywhere. So I'll get this unbolted and then we'll just cut it out with the saw, and then that should be the base done. So for the next part of the project, I thought I'd design my own sign. My daughter's into Batman, so I thought, well, we'll try and make her a little Batman sign. So I spent a little bit of time and designed this. So hopefully it works and it comes out like that. So I've got some acrylic stock loaded, and it's just scanning us to show the area that it's going to be cutting in, which looks correct. So the next thing is we'll get a tool in and we'll see if it's going to cut it out properly. Well, here goes. Now it's using the smaller tool just to finish off the fine edges. Now it's just going to do the circle around the outside and then cut it out. Hey, I think that's it. I was lucky there, I should have had thicker tabs I think, because the pieces actually came away there. That actually looks quite cool, that. I think that's came out really well. I'm quite happy with that. So the next part of the project is we're going to mill an aluminium touch button out of this block of aluminium here. However, the bit that I need to use doesn't have one of these collars on, so I'll just show you how to fit one of those. You basically just pop the collar on the end like that. You then load it into this tool and it'll poke out the end. You then screw this bit on like so, and then you tighten this knob up, and what it will do, and that's it there with the collar on, ready to use. Right, let's mill this bit out. And I'm quite surprised how quiet this machine is. It would be even more quieter if you had the top down, but obviously I've got the top up there for recording. And that's the button complete. Right, let's get it out. So all the parts of our LED sign are complete. I've glued the little switch in place with a little bit of super glue there just to hold it. So we've just got the circuit board to install now. So that should be the base complete. We'll get our sign. I need to remove the plastic. That should go on there like that. And just grab a USB cable. And then I'll just dim the lights. Well, hey! And I think if we press it, it turns it off. If we press it again, it turns it back on. And if you hold it down, you can adjust the brightness. Well, I'm well pleased with how that came out. I think that wasn't bad at all for a first attempt. So I thought I'd have a go with the 4th axis in a block of wood here. And I'm using my own model, so hopefully it works and I don't end up with snap bits and things. Right, I think we'll leave that to do its thing for a while and then we'll come back when it's a little bit further on. Well, you're just starting to see a tiny little bit of the detail from the roughing pass shown through there. Just at this side here you can see a little bit of the pattern. So, and after this roughing pass, what we'll do is we'll switch to the fine bit and then it should bring all the details out. Well, it's definitely taking shape, but it's going to take about another hour to finish this roughing pass, so we'll come back a bit later on. Well, it looks like I've had my first oopsie. I tried to take that bit down a bit more, so I told the machine to narrow that down, and it kind of got caught and snapped the milling bit. So one bit down. And one of the other things I've just nearly been caught out by as well is when I do the second pass, it would have been going all the way to the end, and seeing as the bit's a lot shorter, it's a chance that the spindle here might have hit the actual stock. So what I've done, I've recalculated the tool path, but only going from here to here now, instead of going the whole length like we were doing previously. So that's another thing to be aware of. So there's a little bit more involved in this than what first meets the eye. You've got to sort of be on the ball a bit with this. And one of the other little issues that I had, I'll just show you. There's this cable here. I think it just sticks on there with this sticky pad. But what happened was that it came off, and when I told it to do the next thing, the cable ended up being there and ended up being jammed between here and the frame, and then he cut the cable in half. There's a little bit of a mark on the cable. I don't know if you can see there, but just here. So that was another little issue that I had there. So I might have to find a better way of securing this, because I think it was just with the heat of the motor, it just softened the adhesive and that it just came off. I'm not sure if that's the way that's supposed to go, because I couldn't find any detail on that, so that might be wrong the way I've done it. I'm not 100% on that one. I'm not sure if this is going to work properly because I had to reset the machine, so it might have lost its position or something, so I don't know if this is going to turn out right or not. So I don't know whether just to stop this or not, because I think the model has moved maybe a millimetre, because it seems to be cutting more on one side, like here. You can see there's a bit of a chunk missing out of there now, and there's not on this side. And it's making some funny noises when it's going down at times. Now you can see a big chunk out of there where there's not on this side, and it actually misses when it goes like this. It's not actually doing anything. So I think the model's rotated maybe a millimetre or something there, like that. So I think I'm going to stop this, otherwise I'm probably going to end up with another snap bit. Well, if you know me, I don't like giving up usually, so I thought I'd glue that bit back on. Cut a little bit off here, glue it back onto the block there, and I'm using a ball nose bit now just to try and take a little bit off at a time, and then I'll use a smaller ball nose bit and then a smaller one again, so hopefully we might still be to finish this one yet. We'll see how we get on. Well, it did manage to complete it. It's still not great, like it says, because the model's moved, and I still had to take this end bit off yet again because the spindle collet here was still going to catch on the side of that block. So I've learned I need to make these sections here a lot bigger than what I have. So yes, it's all a learning curve. But so I'll get this out and then we'll have a bit closer look at it. Well, it has came out okay. I mean, not brilliant, but I did manage to kind of recover from it. But it's the first time that I've ever machined anything on a 4th axis, and I haven't really used the CNC much in the past either, so it's all a learning curve. But at least I've learned a couple of things now, so hopefully if I try this again, I should be better at it and I'll get better results. And one of the other things that I forgot to do as well was on the last pass, you're supposed to do it vertically, and I did it horizontally because you're supposed to get better resolution if you do it vertically. So that was something else that I forgot to do as well. So I'm just about to have a go again with another custom project, so we'll see how this one goes. Right, we'll come back to this in a bit. Well, so far so good. Well, it's taking shape. So that's the roughing pass finished. Now we've just got to do the finishing pass. Well, I've just started doing the finishing pass, but I think it's going to take some time because the end of the bit I'm using here is only 0.2 of a millimetre. So it's going to take some time, I think, to go across this. But it is doing it, and it's not having any issues, so hopefully this one is going to be successful. Well, I think that one seems to have came out alright. I don't think I've had any issues with this one, so obviously I must have done a better job. So I'll just get it out of the machine and we'll have a bit closer look. Well, that's came out really good. Just the amount of detail in that on it there. So yeah, so I'm really happy with that one. That one's came out perfect. Excellent. So I'm going to try out the laser module now, and that just clips on like any of the other tools. You just put it on the spindle and then press the quick release up. It just plugs into the side here. Just like that. And then we've got a little air assist tube that you can put on there as well. Just like so. So I've got a job all set up ready to go. I've got my laser glasses on, so I'm just going to leave the top open as well, so we'll just hit start and hopefully we'll get a nice laser engraving. So I've just cancelled it, and the reason is I had the feed speed set to 100mm and it can actually go up to 1000. And that's what it was recommended at, so that was a mistake on my behalf. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to try that again now, but set to the 1000mm rather than the 100. So hopefully it'll be going 10 times faster now. What I've done is I've increased the feed speed and I've also increased the laser power as well. I think that came out alright. I've got a bit of scrap wood, so I thought I'd have a go at trying to make a custom sign. So let's see how we'll get on with that. Well, that part worked out well. I hope the rest of it goes like that. So one of my wife's friends asked would I be to make a sign for the stable door for one of her horses. So that's what I came up with, and I think it looks rather well. I'm quite happy with that. That was just a bit of scrap wood that I had lying around, so yeah, I'm well happy with that. And there's another one completed. So there's the little projects that I've managed to make with the machine, just in a very short period of time. There is a little bit of a learning curve, but to be quite honest with you, it's not actually that bad once you get stuck into it, let's say. The machine itself worked flawlessly, pretty much. I didn't have really any problems with the machine at all, apart from the ones that were caused by me, just with lack of experience with it. There's a couple of little niggles with the machine itself that I found. One of them was this dust guard here. I was actually trying to clip it on, because what happened is this hose seems to want to sort of pull it back off. So I had to quite bend this hose around first to get it into the right position, put this on, and then I think it's the angle of this clip here. It seems to want to pull this dust cover off. So that was one of the little issues. Now you can see like the angle it wants to go at, so as you're trying to bend it up over, it keeps wanting to sort of unclip itself. I mean, it didn't actually come off, but that was one of the little things. One of the other things were these sort of covers for these slots here where the bed moves backwards and forwards. Weren't particularly great. They're just like a kind of, I don't know what they are, very, very thin rubber. I think this could do with a bit thicker rubber possibly. So they kind of keep the shape, because they just seem to be bending up. And then what happens is you get bits of sawdust and shavings or whatever falling down here and ending up underneath the machine there, as you can see. I mean, not a major problem, that was just one of the little niggles that I had. But other than that, it seems a very sturdy and well-built machine. I did have a couple of software crashes where the program just stopped responding and then exited. And a couple of times I did have where the screen, where the model was displayed, just suddenly went black. And then you couldn't see anything, not even the cube in the corner for rotating or whatever, that disappeared as well. However, Makera are working on a new version of the software called Makera Studio, which is supposed to be being released at the start of next year. So hopefully they'll have all these issues resolved by then. And one of the things that Makera's creating is a site called Makerables, which is a site where you can share all of your 3D designs, models, like what you can with 3D printed files, which I thought that was quite good. So one thing that I forgot to mention was the software. Makera Cam and Makera Controller come free with the machine. You don't have to purchase any CNC software. However, you're not tied to the Makera software. You can actually use quite a number of different softwares, and Makera even provide profiles and plugins and tool libraries for different programs such as Fusion 360 or Vectric Aspire, Vectric VCarve, and quite a number of other programs. So you've got quite a few options of different softwares you can use with the machine too. So Carvera make 3 machines currently. This is the Carvera Air, which has the quick tool changer. They also do the Carvera, which has the automatic tool changer and built-in dust extraction unit. And they're also bringing out a new machine called the Z1. So I think what separates these machines from the competition is the quick tool changer, the sturdy build quality of it, the precision down to 0.02 of a millimetre, and just generally the ease of use of it. So what they're trying to do is make it as easy for people to get into CNC as what it is for 3D printing. And also working things out like speeds and feeds. You don't have to do anything with that because all that's handled in the software. You just pretty much select your tool, select what material that you're machining, and it works everything out for you. About 10 years ago I did build myself a CNC machine from a kit, and with it not being fully enclosed there was dust everywhere. You had to manually set everything with a piece of paper for the tool heights and everything. Well, this does it all pretty much automatically, so if you're interested in one of these, I'll leave some links in the video description so you can visit the Makera site, and also a discount code if you want some money off. So thanks for watching.